This week, we take a look at the Enneagram Type 6, the Loyalist and the Skeptic. To learn more, we sit down with our resident expert, Dr. Teo. Let's listen in to our interview with him. Welcome back again. We are here with Dr. Teo as we continue our journey into unraveling ourselves, who we are. And today we're looking at the Type 6. Can I put my fingers all in there? Can you see it? Oh, no. Let's see. There we go. Oh, no. Okay. It's not working. But we're looking at the Type 6. First of all, welcome. What can you tell us, our audience, about the Type 6 personality and their wound, the thing that drives them?
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back again. Type 6 is, they are a very good friend of Type 5 because they are, our neighbors in the Enneagram. And some of us 5s, we are leaning more on the 6, looking for answers and searching for the truth. It is very important for Type 6 to find stability. And truth is a symbol of stability. I know we have different ways on seeing the truth, but whether you are coming from whatever side side of this vast spectrum of understanding truth, a 6 is committed to, okay, this is my truth, and this truth will give me actually security, safety, and stability. That's why in return, if they find this truth that would give them stability, they would protect that truth. And they are known to be loyal to that truth. Now, truth, it's just not about belief. Truth can also be an organization, an individual, someone that is quite stable enough to assure Type 6 that in the stability, life would go on and it would become maybe enough a safe place for them to go against any kind of challenges and trials in life. It's something that they would actually cling to, and sometimes they're willing to die and kill for it.
Wow.
That kind of loyalty.
Wow.
Now, if the tendency of a loyalist Type 6 is that it's not just loyalty, it could also be blind loyalty and also blind resistance. For example, if anyone can be unhealthy, and for Type 6, when they are unhealthy, they tend to be black and white. It's either you are the truth or not of the truth. Therefore, you're the enemy or you are with us.
Sounds like an 8.
Yeah. We all have our own black and white anyway in our own types and levels. But for a Type 6,
Yeah.
The loyalty that they have with the person or truth that keep them safe is the same kind of energy that they do have for anyone who's going against, this truth or this establishment. Many Type 6 thrive in the army, in fraternity, in corporate world, institution. Once they find that this, or church, once they find that this establishment is something that would give them enough sense of stability and security.
Wow.
That's part of their need.
Wow. Now you mentioned this sense of security and stability, but would you say 6s have a hard time? Can they or could they get so caught up thinking about the future that they have a hard time living in the now? Is that a issue or a concern for 6 when unhealthy?
Yeah, 6 and 5, they share this common experience of fear. Okay, when the resources going low for Type 5, they tend to, be so worried and frantic. But Type 6, they don't wait until they get there too. I mean, the Type 6 would would go to the future and find answers. Make sure that when these things happen, that they are secured enough. So it's very easy for a type 6, which is quite oriented with possibilities, because fear is greater for type 6 anyway, comparing to type 5. So the way they address fear is to think in advance, to be cautious. There are also 6, who are actually the antitype of 6 is someone who would, instead of being afraid and thinking of something in the future to address this, let me address it now, face this fear right away. So you will see a lot of antitype 6 who are quite very courageous. They are motorcyclists, extreme games, paratroopers.
Wow.
Because they're afraid of it, but the way of addressing that is meeting it head on.
Wow. Wow.
Those who are not anti-type, because the other types, subtypes in 6, these are the group of people who would rather, okay, are we gonna jump this high? Make sure everything is covered. So among the group of people who are there, they are maybe, if not the overly prepared, individuals to actually address the kind of fear that they do have. They're gifted in seeing possibilities. And your question is, but how do they live in the moment? That's going to be a challenge, because they tend to project things to the future.
Yeah.
Even in relationship, if the relationship becomes intense, it's easy for a type 6 to think number of possibilities, and then sometimes they're relating to those possibilities, forgetting what's happening in the moment.
Wow.
That could be a challenge too.
Yeah. And of course, that is definitely a challenge, thinking about all those things and not embracing what's the beauty of what's happening in the now. So help us understand. They obviously have a great gift of being loyal. They will be there for you when others may desert you. Can you speak a little bit more to then this security, sense of security, where they integrate and disintegrate, their disintegration levels? And if you want to speak a little bit to their wings, the 5 and the 7. And I know that they're in the middle or the center of the triad, so maybe you can speak to their integration, disintegration, and the wings.
Okay. Before I go there, just like what I have covered in other times, the wound of a 6 is in the area actually of trust, faith. They can relate with a type 2 who's having a hard time trusting oneself, and they can also relate with a type 1 who's having difficulty trusting others. So a type 6, if they can trust others and they can trust self, it does make sense to just find something that is trustworthy, which is the structure, the stability, system, because this is something bigger than them and others. Okay, so but that's their woundedness. Now, in their as they integrate for growth, when 6 becomes so afraid of what's going to happen, but if they go to the path towards a 9 who is peace loving and calm, and whatever happens, they can just cool, man, cool, everything's going to be fine. That is the integration piece of 6, and they would love to go to that space, especially when they realize that all of this projection and fear thing, it's not going to help me grow, and I think that in certain ways it will help them be more equipped. But the growth is how to let go and let be, just like the way a 9 would embrace
carefree.
The world. Yes, carefree kind of thing. But if they tend to, okay, this is too much, I need to make sure I have everything ready, they tend to go to the energy of a 3 who's trying to accomplish a lot of things, trying to, the supercharged 3. You can see that in 6. even the manipulation aspect of a 3 can be seen in 6, just to get what would make them quite secure. The difference, of course, a 3 would like to achieve things because it's their way to connect, with a group of people or individual that they'd like to have, a relationship with. For a 6, it's pure self-preservation and security. I need to get that to preserve, myself or the organization, because they tend to merge themselves with the establishment.
Wow.
So they're willing to provide leadership. They're willing to provide strong energy of the 3, because the bottom line is they are trying to protect the establishment.
And I guess in that same way, this quest for stability, security that you mentioned, and the desire to do it at any means necessary, no matter the cost, can lead to people being impacted or hurt along the way, because they're so focused on that goal, like 3s are, that they will be blindsided by how they're impacting those around them.
Sure. Yes. If you go back to history, there are great leaders, church leaders, who were willing to die and kill, for the church, because
Peter.
Okay, it is a strong establishment. They would give their life for it, but in return, the establishment gives them security as well. So that's the dynamics.
Yeah. So finally, then, what thoughts could you share for those who are in relation with 6s? How can we? And I'm assuming there's certain things that we can do to help them live a better life, or to be more healthy or productive. But what sort of ideas or thoughts that you could share with us for that?
Six are fun. I think that, to be fair, I mean, how to relate with the 6 and enjoy life, with the 6. 6 are fun because they are seeker. They seek the truth. They're very good in finding resources, just like a 5, except that the difference between a 5 ways of finding knowledge. 5 is more out of passion, and 6 is more out of security. But a 6, if you want to support a 6, allow the 6 to be afraid. It's the kind of world that they live in, and every now and then assure them that, okay, I'm here, and take them to the path of 9, that everything will be okay. The 9 says, it's not a problem. Take them to that path whenever they have this kind of struggle in finding sense of security.
Wow.
And when they are projecting, give them that space, because that would subside. Nothing would actually. You can't actually, head to head say, no, don't think that you're being too negative. Actually, they need that space, because they are not actually seeking response from the others, just that relieving their world so that they can move on. They just have to face these questions. They can't just ignore these questions. They just have to face them and then move on. Wow,
that's powerful. Allow them to be afraid.
Yeah.
Allow them to embrace that, and I think that's a good reminder, for all types, to embrace our fears or embrace our weaknesses, because they can really become our strengths. So I appreciate your time today for talking with us about the loyalist, the type 6. I'm sure those among us who have learned something, if not about yourself, at least someone so that you can better relate with them and you can empower each other to be your best self. We thank you for joining us. May God bless you until the next time.
Thank you.
Be blessed.